The truth about Julie Andrews' situation will shock you. Julie, after a fruitful career, has spoken out about her struggles with depression. Even at 90 years old, she has left an incredible legacy and is still adored by many. Nevertheless, she had a tragic loss that carved an irreparable hole in her heart, even if she was famous. Could you please tell me what became of Julie Andrews? Is her life really so depressing? Come with us as we uncover the awful reasons behind Julie's unfortunate life, a significant obstacle in her 90s. Among Hollywood's most adored actors, Julie Andrews has starred in classic films like Mary Poppins, The Sound of Music, and The Princess Diaries. Admired by viewers of all ages, she has become an icon of elegance and skill. Her job and personal life, meanwhile, haven't always been picture perfect. A recent interview with AARP, the magazine, revealed the specifics of a particularly difficult era in the life of the 90-year-old actress. Her singing voice has been taken away. I had a regular operation done over 19 months ago, and the doctor assured me that it wouldn't harm my voice cords. You are aware that ever since then, everyone has been mentioning that I simply can't sing. This traumatic event had a lasting effect on her following surgery in 1997. As she recounted her journey to rediscover her inner power and start over with a fresh perspective. When Andrews was a Broadway performer in 1997, she started to notice that her voice was especially raspy. She sought medical counsel about this ongoing condition and was informed that she had non-cancerous nodules on her vocal cords. At Mount Sinai Hospital in New York City, she had the nodules surgically removed since she thought it was just a regular problem. Regrettably, she learned that something had gone horribly wrong once she awoke from the operation. The damage was too great to repair her renowned 4-octave soprano voice, which had been her calling card throughout her career. According to Julie's subsequent explanation, the operation was intended to be a straightforward procedure. However, the outcomes were catastrophic. The loss of something fundamental to who she was shocked her. For Julie, the emotional toll of losing her singing voice was substantial. Experiencing a profound sense of loss, she detailed her descent into depression. She had always considered singing to be fundamental to her existence, both professionally and personally. In its absence, she felt lost and confused about what to do next. The hospital was finally paid out in 2000 after Julie sued them for medical misconduct. However, her voice could never be the same. Doctors finally explained that the problem stems from a very rare muscular striation on her vocal cords, rendering her singing talent irreparable, even after she has several procedures to try to fix the damage. In the midst of this terrible period, Andrews discovered a source of surprising optimism. At about the same time, someone suggested that she and her daughter Emma write books for kids. A new chapter in her life began with this opportunity, which gave her a platform to express herself creatively and gave her purpose. Julie expressed her appreciation for the opportunity to start over in her mid-60s with a new career. It brought her joy to write alongside her daughter. Musicians and children fumbled nervously about. She vanished. He seemed to be trying to shake the terrible memory by raising his arm. Unexpectedly, she vanished into a. More than a dozen children's books were published by them jointly. In addition to writing her memoirs, she dabbled in other forms of artistic expression. On October 15, her second memoir, Homework, was supposed to be released. Julie has discovered success in her new profession, but she has come clean about how much she loves singing. Because of how integral it was to who she was, she would never fully recover from its loss. Even though she had experienced tremendous loss, she was thankful for the chances she had to keep finding light and meaning through her work and to inspire others. For Julie Andrews, singing has always been an integral part of who she is. How did it go from being an unrecognized talent to a worldwide phenomenon? Julie Andrews, whose real name is Julia Elizabeth Wells, was born in Walton-on-Thames, Surrey, England. She possesses a special talent that has been uncovered. In Chertsey, Barbara Ward Wells came into this world. Edward Charles Ted Wells was a woodwork and metalwork instructor, and she wed him in 1932. Ted Wells was not Julie's biological father, though. Her mother's liaison with a close relative allowed her to conceive. Julie didn't find out who her biological parents were until her mother told her the truth in 1950. Until Julie revealed it in her autobiography in 2008, this very private secret stayed hidden. They were married for a while, but they divorced when World War II broke out. Not long later, they both wed again. Her dad, Ted Wells, wed Winifred Maud Hyde, a widow from a war who had worked in a factory with him, and her mom, Ted Andrews, wed a performer in 1943. While Julie's mother and stepfather were members of the Entertainment's National Service Association to provide entertainment to troops, Julie's father helped evacuate children to safer regions during the Blitz. During this time, Julie spent a short stint in Surrey with her dad and brother John. Ted Wells sent Julie to live with her mom and stepdad in 1940 because he thought they would be better able to foster her creative abilities. Julie found this change to be rather difficult. Her mother advised she begin referring to her stepfather as Pop, even though she had previously called him Uncle Ted. The girl kept calling her biological father Daddy or Dad even after this. Julie was uneasy about the change and found it difficult to adapt. They resided in a tough, impoverished area of London, and the family's financial status was terrible at the time. A somber and trying period in Julie's life, as she would later say. Making matters worse for her, her stepfather drank excessively and acted aggressively on occasion. Due to his 2 drunken attempts to enter Julie's bedroom, she took precautions by locking the door. The family's financial situation improved when her mother's and stepfather's acting careers took off. They relocated to greener pastures. This very spot, the same spot. Developing this play is an ongoing process. In my mind, there's still a lot of potential use for it. Feeling that it has arrived is lovely. After the war, they returned to Hersham after first going to Beckenham. The Old Mews was a significant house in Julie's family because her maternal grandmother had been a maid there in the past. They resided there in Hersham. Julie's stepfather encouraged her to pursue her artistic interests. Having her enrolled at what was once the Cone Ripman School but is now the Training Park School of the Performing Arts. Professional training that will mold Julie's exceptional talent started at this school. In subsequent years, she continued her vocal training with the late, great Madame Lillian Stiles Allen. Julie thought of Madame Stiles Allen as a second mother because of her profound admiration for her. Madame remarked on Julie's remarkable vocal ability, praising her remarkable range, precision, and tone. Despite Madame's confidence in Julie's ability to sing Rossini and Mozart, Julie humbly characterized her voice as pure, white, and thin with an amazing 4-octave range. Julie resumed her studies at Woodbrook School in Beckenham, where she honed her singing abilities with the help of teachers. Despite her modesty, her gift was obvious. These formative years set the stage for her career as a world-renowned performer, sharing a unique gift with audiences everywhere. Julie Andrews' theater career began in 1945, when she joined her parents on stage. She performed with them in impromptu performances for the subsequent 2 years. On a certain day, Andrews' parents instructed her to take a nap in the afternoon so that she could join them for a night of singing. Standing atop a beer crate, Andrews would reach for the microphone during her early performances. She would sing solos or duets with her stepfather, with her mother accompanying on piano. She made a subsequent joke about how the crowd seemed to love her even though her singing wasn't perfect. 3 years Andrews Sr., fellow child performer Petula Clark recalled accompanying her on a train tour of the United Kingdom to entertain troops. Clark also said that sleeping on luggage racks was a lot of fun, especially considering that not many kids got to do that. The introduction by Andrews' stepfather to Val Parnell, managing director of Moss Empires, which oversaw important London venues, was the turning point in Andrews' career. The London Hippodrome hosted Andrews' professional solo debut on October 22, 1947, when she was barely 12 years old. She took part in the musical revue Starlight Roof, when she sang the difficult aria Chasse's Titania. She enjoyed her time there performing for a year and recalled her time working with comic Wallybogue with fondness. The audience's rousing applause for her performance was a tremendous boost to her confidence. On November 1, 1948, at the age of 13, Andrews made history at the Royal Variety Performance by being the youngest solo performer. She performed at the London Palladium alongside Danny Kaye and King George VI and Queen Elizabeth, among others. After that, she began performing on television and radio, appearing on shows like Educating Archie and Up the Pole. She was also a pantomime Cinderella and appeared in West End productions of Humpty Dumpty and Aladdin. The Singing Princess, an animated picture with English dub, was Andrews' first feature film role, and she portrayed Princess Zayla in it in 1952. The Boyfriend was Andrews' Broadway debut in 1954, when she was 19 years old. Her performance was praised, even though she was inexperienced. As far as theatrical productions go, this is one of the all-time greats. Her outstanding talent was then highlighted in the critically acclaimed TV musical Cinderella and the critically acclaimed film My Fair Lady. The stepping stones to Andrews' legendary career were these formative years. However, her stardom was only going to rise from here. Did she have any other wonderful opportunities? Adopting the role of Mary Poppins. Taking the lead in Disney's musical Mary Poppins was a career-altering move for Julie Andrews. After seeing her mesmerizing performance in Camelot on Broadway, Walt Disney himself gave her the part. Julie initially declined, citing her pregnancy and her intention to travel to London for the birth of her child as her reasons. But Disney informed her, "We'll wait for you," demonstrating their unwavering determination. Author P.L. Travers, known for the Mary Poppins books, paid her a personal visit following the birth of her daughter. "You have the nose for it, but you're far too beautiful for the part," she said with a laugh. Toluca Lake, Los Angeles was the location of Julie and her family's rental home, which Disney used to make sure they were comfortable throughout filming. As Mary Poppins, Julie immersed herself in the role, giving the character a specific gait and posture that befit her prim and proper nature. Production was a real challenge, despite the visual enchantment. Despite the many technical hurdles and physical demands, Julie said the process was an amazing introduction to the film industry. Her efforts were greatly rewarded. Upon its premiere, Mary Poppins became the most successful picture in Disney's history up until that point. Variety hailed Julie Andrews' performance as a remarkable triumph, and critics were impressed. There were 13 nominations for the film, and Andrews took home 5 of them, including Best Actress. She was also nominated for a Golden Globe and a Grammy for her performance in the film and its score. Even though producer Jack Warner notoriously passed Julie up for the part of Eliza Doolittle in My Fair Lady, Julie thanked him playfully during her Golden Globe winning speech. Her sincere and astute comment garnered praise and solidified her status as Hollywood's beloved. In 1964, she acted in the comedy drama The Americanization of Emily, a part she had specifically sought out so she could escape the stereotypical role of a nanny. As the New York Times put it, irresistible was one critic's description of her performance. Later on, both Andrews and Garner cited it as one of their favorite films. The Sound of Music, which Andrews starred in 1965, was another role that defined her career. She felt the story was too emotional at first. However, she changed her mind while practicing. The weather in Salzburg, Austria, made filming a real challenge. Andrews, though, was captivated by the scenery and brought Maria to life through the music. Critics praised Andrews' brilliant performance, which contributed to the film's success and its eventual status as the year's top-grossing picture. Both the Golden Globe and Oscar nominations came her way for her performance as Maria von Trapp. Along with her film career, Andrews was a television star, earning an Emmy for her work on The Julie Andrews Show. Hawaii and Millie, which was utterly modern, were the latest in her string of successful pictures. Andrews overcame adversity to become one of the most adored performers of her generation, touching the hearts of people all over the globe. Julie Andrews' career, like the careers of all Hollywood stars before her, encountered unforeseen obstacles. What the fuck happened? Did she ever get over it? An unavoidable obstacle. Julie Andrews' husband directed 2 of Hollywood's most costly bombs, Star, a biopic about Gertrude Lawrence, and Darling Lily, in which she co-starred with Rock Hudson. In Star, Julie played an ambitious part. Sir Blake Edwards. Julie battled crippling self-doubt and overanalyzed her character on set of Star. Choreographer Michael Kidd collaborated extensively with her to refine the film's complex musical numbers, which were mentally and physically taxing. Simultaneously, she was navigating the challenges of her divorce from her first husband, Tony Walton. Critics were not impressed by Star, unfortunately. Several publications, including Variety and the New York Times, panned the picture, citing her overly dramatic performance as the reason. Andrews nevertheless managed to get a Golden Globe nomination for Best Actress in a Comedy or Musical, despite all the negative buzz. The friendships she formed with Kidd and director Robert Wise stood out to her as the most memorable aspect of the trip. It was in 1968, 2 years before filming Darling Lily began, that Edwards first told Andrews about his plans. Henry Mancini and Johnny Mercer, 2 renowned composers, collaborated with her to record the film's score in preparation. The film bombed at the box office, but Andrews blamed the studio's marketing and post-production blunders. But she was lauded by the New York Times, who described her as the show's ideal focal point, and bringing attention to her singing and comic abilities. The picture went on to win an Oscar, and she received another Golden Globe nomination. Some of my favorites are these. In retrospect, Andrews did admit that it's hard to be consistently successful, but she did point out that nobody sets out to fail. Although Angela Lansbury was hired in the lead role of Disney's Bedknobs and Broomsticks, Andrews was initially considered for the part. In 1969, Andrews joined forces with Harry Belafonte for an NBC special, further establishing her visibility on television. The Julie Andrews Hour, her variety show that won 7 Emmys before being cancelled after one season, was cancelled, but she continued to make television appearances, such as Julie and Carol at Lincoln Center, with Carol Burnett. She was a guest star on The Muppet Show and in a number of other TV specials. 2 of her films, 10 and The Tamarind Seed, were commercial successes. She starred in daring films like S.O.B. and Victor Victoria in the 80s, the latter of which garnered her a Golden Globe and an Academy Award nomination. Her performances on stage and television were becoming better and better. Using the Do-Re-Mi movement. What comes next in Julie's professional life following her botched voice surgery? The pinnacle of innovation. Julie Andrews lost her singing voice in 1997 due to a botched vocal operation, which made her hesitant to perform live for a long time. Regardless, she kept busy in the entertainment world. When Dr. Dolittle was staged in London in 1998, she voiced the role of Polynesia the parrot. She sang to the birds and recorded more than 700 phrases to program into the animatronic bird so it could communicate with the animals. One Special Night, a CBS TV movie that she and James Garner worked on together again the following year, aired in November 1999. Andrews was appointed Dame Commander of the Order of the British Empire in 2000, one of the highest honors bestowed by Britain, in recognition of her artistic achievements. On occasion, she was at the perfect location at the perfect moment, as Queen Elizabeth II bestowed the accolade to her at Buckingham Palace. And in the popular vote for the BBC's 100 Greatest Britons, he came in at number 59. During her 2001 Kennedy Center Award, Andrews performed on Golden Pond Live on television with Christopher Plummer, whom she had worked with in the film Sound of Music. Playing the role of Queen Clarice Marie Rinaldi, she triumphantly returned to Disney that year for The Princess Diaries. After Mary Poppins in 1964, this was her return to Disney acting. Royal Engagement, the sequel to Princess Diaries, had her reprising her role. After undergoing vocal surgery, Andrews made her cinematic singing debut in this sequel, singing Your Crowning Glory inside her newly adjusted vocal range. According to the film's music supervisor, Andrews brought the entire team to tears with her stunning one-take performance of the song. In 2003, she kept working with Disney, starring as a smart and compassionate nanny in 2 Eloise TV movies. She was nominated for an Emmy for these roles. The musical that had began her Broadway career in 1954, The Boyfriend, was revived around the same time, and she made her directing debut as the show's choreographer. Afterwards, the show went on a nationwide tour. In 2005 and 2006, Andrews made special appearances and narrated events as the official ambassador for Disneyland's 50th anniversary. She voiced Queen Lillian again in Shrek III, Shrek Forever After, and Shrek 2 in 2004. Enchanted, a 2007 Disney film that was a lighthearted tribute to old Disney films, also featured her narration. Detailed in her 2008 biography Home, a narrative of my early years, Andrews recounted her childhood and ascent to fame. Later that year, she made her public performance return after more than a decade with Julie Andrews, The Gift of Music, a tour of the United States. She read from her children's book, Simeon's Gift, and sang a number of songs written by Rodgers and Hammerstein. Along with other notable locations, the tour stopped at the Hollywood Bowl. At the O2 Arena, Julie made her long-awaited stage comeback to London in 2010, after a hiatus of 21 years. Despite mixed reviews, more than 20,000 enthusiastic spectators gave her repeated standing ovations. She went on to voice characters in Shrek and Despicable Me. Nominations for Grammy Lifetime Achievement followed. *** would be really powerful, aside from the scream I would let out. Yeah, it's not terrible. No, I don't think so. That's perfectly okay. Sure, let's do it. Along with her daughter Emma Walton Hamilton, she kept writing novels in 2011. Her career in cinema and television continued unabated. To avoid being overshadowed by Emily Blunt, she declined a cameo in Mary Poppins Returns and voiced Carathon, a magical aquatic creature in Aquaman. Her narration of the popular Netflix series Bridgerton debuted in 2020, bringing her a new wave of admirers. Stars paid tribute to Andrews's remarkable career at the 2022 American Film Institute Lifetime Achievement Award ceremony. Minions: The Rise of Gru saw her return to the role of Gru's mother. In 2023, she paid tribute to Carol Burnett, a lifelong friend of hers, in an NBC primetime special and recalled her early days in Hollywood in a CBS episode honoring Dick Van Dyke. In spite of obstacles, Julie Andrews has maintained her status as a cinematic, theatrical, and television legend throughout her lengthy career. Generations of fans all over the globe find inspiration in her legacy. When Julie Andrews isn't in the limelight, what does her life look like? A loving life that brings you joy. On May 10, 1959, in Weybridge, Surrey, Julie Andrews wed Tony Walton, a set designer. This was the beginning of their love story. Maggie Smith was one of the famous attendees at the wedding. Their love story began in 1948, when a young Julie was a performer in the London casino production of Humpty Dumpty. Emma Walton Hamilton was born to them in 1962 as a result of their strong friendship. The pair did, however, file for a divorce in 1968 after being together for almost 10 years. Love returned to Julie's life not long after. The famous film director Blake Edwards was her husband. They tied the knot in November 1969. They were married after being together for 2 years minimum. Julie became a stepmother to Jeffrey and Jennifer, who are children of Edwards, through this marriage. In the 1970s, the couple expanded their family even more by adopting Joanna Lynn, 2 girls from Vietnam, and another child. Even after Edwards passed away in 2010, Julie and Blake's love story continued unabated for an astounding 41 years. He passed away at the age of 88 due to pneumonia complications at Santa Monica, California's St. John's Health Center. At his dying moments, Julie was there, a symbol of their unwavering love and dedication. Andrews has 9 grandkids and 3 great-grandchildren. She resides in Sag Harbor, New York, where her daughter Emma, carrying on the family tradition of artistic excellence, co-founded the Bay Street Theatre. In the past, Andrews's remarkable voice earned her the title of Britain's youngest prima donna. Her soprano, who had received classical training, had a reputation for being brilliant, clear, and pure. A characteristic reminiscent of opera. Her voice gradually became deeper as she got older. Her middle range grew warmer and fuller, but her high notes faded. Instead of listening to depressing music, which she thought would choke her voice, she sought out upbeat, optimistic tunes. Because of the depth and clarity of her voice, she became an icon in the annals of music. Julie Andrews' journey, what are your thoughts about it? Is she currently leading a sad life, in your opinion? Leave a comment below and tell us what you think. Please subscribe, like, and share for additional content. Additionally, play the following video that appears on your screen.